the concept that all roads lead to Bitcoin. So you have all these different assets that you can use to store value. So stocks, real estate, bonds, gold, pressure, whatever it is, you can use all those things to store value. After you start storing value and you kind of start figuring out what the system is, you start figuring out what counterparty risk is, you might want to start taking self custody. But which assets can you take self custody of? You can take self custody of gold, you can take self custody of Bitcoin. But let's say you can get stock certificates, you can get bearer bonds, you have your house, of course, but all those last three can be taken away from you. So the value of, let's say, the stock certificate, the value is the company that's underlying, and you don't actually have custody of that. That can be taken away from you. The company can be taxed to death. The government can say we're going to take all ownership of this, and you could just get completely screwed over. Same thing with bearer bonds. You have the bearer bond, that's the paper that the ownership. Nobody's holding it for you, but the thing is that you still have counterparty risk, where the person who owes you the money, they may not pay you back. So Bitcoin and gold, you actually hold the value. That's the thing that's important here. And then so that's two levels. Basically, number one is the storing value. Number two is taking self custody, getting out of the system. Number three is being able to cross borders or to escape sanctions. You can't really do that with, I mean, you can do that. You can escape sanctions with gold, but you can't really cross borders with gold. So let's say if you have $1 million worth of gold, if you're a nation state, you can get away from, let's say, American sanctions with gold, but you can't get away with American sanctions with stocks, bonds, like that. It just like it funnels up to everything leads to Bitcoin because it's the only thing that you can take across borders, like the only thing that you have total control over, and it doesn't have any physical appearance. It doesn't take up physical space. It can be taken anywhere in the world. You can hold it anywhere you want. You can access it from multiple places. That's the only thing, that it's the only data or information that we have that you can carry around. You can't duplicate it. I don't know if you guys get what I'm saying, but essentially, like everything just leads into Bitcoin.
We were just talking about this with strategy, actually, in the sense of like we kind of played through the scenario of strategy becoming the world's superpower. Again, whether you want to call it a country or a company or whatever, an entity, the most powerful entity. If Bitcoin wins, that's going to be strategy.
Yeah.
And it's different in the sense that they don't have borders to defend. They're not stacking missiles and bombs and guns, because nobody can just blow up something and take strategy's power that they have.
Yeah.
Right. And that is, it's what you're talking about there relates to like individual level in the sense that nobody can take that from you. But like at a higher level, it's very interesting when you have this entity that could become the next global superpower and you cannot attack them with weapons.
Yeah.
Crazy. And I just looked it up. Like $1 million in gold would be about 15 to 17 kilograms. Like you never get that across the border. Like no way they let you go through there. Like they will see that and they will seize that or do something with that. And I think this is the point that still a lot of people miss. That's why, like, I love talking about strategy and stretch and all those things, but I have a very strong golden rule, and I don't know how you guys think about that, but I always want 80% plus of my wealth in Bitcoin self-custody. That's my rule. Like I never want to have less than that in Bitcoin self-custody. Yeah, there might be some time where maybe strategy is ripping or like Bitcoin is going down and my cash position is kind of reaching over that, but like 80% is kind of my golden rule. And with the 20% I'm playing with cash and playing with strategy, I don't do it yet, but I might play with stretch a little bit in the future. And because of that reason, because it's the only thing where I can walk across a country and I don't have anything with me and I can access that on another side and nobody knows it. Like they would need to, they would need to beat it out of me to get the information. And even then I still have the choice to share it or not. Like even if I got beaten up, I still have the choice if I give them something of information or not. And that's kind of, I know like most of the people in the chat is like, yeah, of course, like we've learned about Bitcoin, we know the fundamentals, but this is such a strong point of Bitcoin that is worth reiterating. because maybe in our small circle people know about it. But I guarantee you that if you go out on the street and interact with people outside of this bubble, like 99.99% of people have no clue what's going on. And I think it's worth putting out there, like just like that very fact.
100%.
Yeah.
Reiterating the basics are something all of us continue to do, and what we're always going to continue doing, because that's, again, I think the average human being reads at like a grade 4 reading level. It's just, that's life. I mean, Donald Trump, part of the reason he won 10 years ago is because he speaks at a 4th grade reading level, or whatever it is. It's grade 3, 4, 5. I forget what it is. Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling financial author of all time. What does he do? He repeats himself a million times. It's the same 10 stories he's told for 30 plus years. There's a reason for that. It's sales and marketing persuasion. And most people, if we sat here and went down these rabbit holes, we would just lose everyone. You guys would end up losing me at some point. So that's like, that's just how life goes. So it's bringing people to this, getting the normies here. And it's very important. So we're never going to not go away from that, Robin. So it's a great point saying that.
I think from my own perspective too, like I know myself that I had to listen to probably 25 Jeff Booth interviews before I finally figured out what the hell he was talking about. And maybe I'm at a grade 4 reading level myself, but I just know that I have to hear things over and over and over again, different times of the day, different settings in my car or in the shower. It's not these aren't concepts that you just hear once and you automatically pick up. I don't anyways. And I think the reason for that is because of the programming, because of the 100 years of education. And you have to, first of all, I don't want to swear here, but change your mind on things and then start looking at things through a different lens, which is very difficult to do. Like it's not an easy thing to just, because Bitcoin is so different in every aspect of it. It's just so different than what we're used to and what we've been programmed in our own operating systems.
Nothing else works like Bitcoin. You don't get the same kind of control. You don't have the same power. And then that's what really kind of makes me think that the government couldn't have made Bitcoin, because why would they want to give us our power? And why would they give that? Like, why would they intentionally give that to us?
But the government's just people too, though. Remember that. It could have been
right.
It could have been certain people
been
within the government department.
Right.
I mean, open sourcing it. I mean, it could have been planned to have been something different, more like a stable coin today. Yeah. It could have been more of like a surveillance tech digital money idea and got open sourced prior to it becoming that. That's always a possible theory. It really is like, we don't actually know how this was made. That's something that's so interesting about Bitcoin.
But so every time somebody says, "Oh, it was Jeffrey Epstein," it's pedo coin, it's this, it's that. Like they're just making shit up. Like it's just they have this story in their mind that they just want to get out there, and they want to prove to the world that no, I was right. I was always right about Bitcoin. Then this is another reason, another way, right? So yesterday, for example, gold was down 20% from the top, more than 20%, and Peter Schiff didn't say anything. He didn't say anything about it. He kept saying, "Oh, this is a pullback. This is a pullback." But then that's what shows you, like, people have biases. They have a certain way of thinking, and they don't want to change that. Most people have already made up their mind about Bitcoin before they even read like a book about it. Listened to a podcast, watched a video about it. Like they've already made up their mind, and they're not going to change it.
Yeah, and somebody that speaks with certainty is it's very convincing when you hear somebody say, "I absolutely know something," but they're lying. They're lying to themselves, or they're lying to you. Either they're doing it intentionally or not to try to sell you something, most likely. But I don't know how Bitcoin was made. I don't know what Bitcoin's price is going to be at any point in the future. I can only speculate based on my current knowledge, but it's always based on there's always what has to be brought up to chance, but is ultimately many different factors that are uncomprehendable. You can't figure out every butterfly effect of every world economic thing happening that creates the price action to be something at some point in the future. It's impossible. So it's easier to just chalk a part of that up to chance and say, well, I think this is most likely, but there's no way people know anything. And anybody telling you something that they know absolutely, and they don't say, hey, I was wrong about that, or I don't know for sure, they're lying to you, and they're trying to trick you, and they're trying to build confidence, probably trying to sell you something.
That's partly why like all these clickbait videos do so well, right? Because
Yes.
people are like, oh, 8 hours left, you have to take action, the world is about to end, you must do this, or like that's why they do so well, even compared to like this video has how many people watching it? I don't even know how much, but if it was like something like, oh, Bitcoin is about to go to zero, we'd have 10 times as many viewers, because people just like they think with their emotions.
Well, uncertainty is scary, and certainty provides this clarity that alleviates questions in your mind, even if it's just a false hope of that.
It makes me think. Go ahead, Rajat, or Robin.
I just wanted to tell Rashad and also the viewers, because maybe it's a fun stat. We have over 200 people just on YouTube in the live chats, so it's fun. It feels probably every single one feels probably less, because it's like Brand's channels, it's Forrest's, Rashad's, it's mine, it's the new one that we made, BTC Mastermind. By the way, 13 people also tuned in with BTC Mastermind, which is awesome, because this is a new record to the 10 we had last time and the 3 we had the first time. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there. And
we also got 10 people on Nostr, by the way. Can't leave them out.
Let's go.
Oh, that's cool. That's all. I don't see the Nostr stats, unfortunately. They don't have an integration with StreamYard.
Yep.
Yeah, of course they don't. I was just going to say on that too, like when people are thinking through like who created, because Forrest kind of made the point of like it's really interesting, and that's how I look at it too. It doesn't scare me at all of who created Bitcoin or who was behind it, but it's interesting to me, and I think that if you think about it, because that's kind of the biggest concern. The further you get into Bitcoin is like, okay, you start looking for things that are wrong here. Well, how could I be wrong about this? And you start thinking about it, and the further I went into it and thought about it is like, there's no possible way that Bitcoin could have been created by somebody with bad intentions. There's just not, because they have no ability to control it at any aspect of it, really. So if somebody had bad intentions, they would just destroy it. Because if you understand it at a deep level, again, nobody can control it, nobody can stop it, nobody can create more of it. What would be the incentive for a bad actor to release Bitcoin in an open source way? And if you can't think of an answer to that, then it's like, okay, well, it had to have been somebody with good intentions. Then that's the only conclusion that I draw from it. And it doesn't matter who it was, but those are the two angles that I look at. It couldn't have been released by somebody with bad intentions because of its decentralization and its immutability, and it's designed to take down the system that has profited for the last 100 or thousands of years. That's its literal mission, is to destroy that system. So why would anybody from that system release it?
I don't even think it was
lab leak. I'm telling you, boys.
I agree with that too.
I'm telling you, that's my theory. Sorry, Rajat. My theory is that my working hypothesis is that someone from the inside did create it, and it was leaked out. Wuhan lab leak because someone had a conscience. To your point, Jor, that someone said, because it's this escape valve for those at the top. Because again, like we talked about earlier, the people at the top are smart. You know, they could be lizard people, but they are not unintelligent. Let's just say that. And it's how can we perpetuate ourselves into the future, the dynasties, all these things that we all know to be true. I mean, it's pretty obvious. And you have this protocol that was discovered, and it's like, hey, we know this thing's going down, but this is our escape valve. This is our escape hatch. This is us shooting ourselves off into space on our own. And someone somewhere had a conscience, got a hold of it, and then leaked it. That's my Wuhan lab leak theory.
I was also thinking, just based on what Jor was saying there, it didn't come out with bad intentions. It's not like the person who came out with it said that they wanted to be rich, because at the time it was worth nothing.
Right.
Mm-hmm. When I think when Satoshi left, when was that? Like mid 2010 or something like that, end of 2010.
Yeah, after that guy was at the CIA, was it Gavin who got invited to the CIA or something, and then Satoshi disappeared?
Do you remember what year that was?
I thought
it wasn't very late. Like it would have been 2010, I think.
It's probably like $10, $15 a coin at that point.
Not even.
Well, 2010, May 22nd was Pizza Day, in 2010. So May. So that was first time at a price. You're right. So that was, it might not even had a price.
December 2010 is when
okay. So
the final public communication.
Yeah. Wow.
So at that time, one Bitcoin was worth between 15 cents and 30 cents.
Yeah, there you go.
So even with 1 million coins,
what was even available at that time, right? I mean, there's obviously big mining rewards at that time, but still, like
but worth
they would have had what, 300K.
And there would have been no liquidity for 1 million coins on the market anyway, so it would be worth way less than that.
You would have had to find that same pizza vendor to give you a cash for it again, or to give you something for it.
Pizzas.
Get some Papa John's with it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's about it.
But that's what it shows you. They didn't come into it with like that profit incentive, right? I was thinking, like what George said, to change the world. Like maybe what you're saying there, Brandon, maybe that was right. Like maybe it was leaked by accident, because the wealthy, like, how do you know that the wealthy wouldn't have released this when there were like Jor keeps saying 100,000 coins in 2039? How do you know that they wouldn't have released it in 2039 when there's 100,000 coins, and then we're just left to fight and
true,
scrap over 100,000 coins for everybody in the world? That's crazy. Wow, this is crazy synergy right here.
But by the way, I just looked it up. I just looked up. It was April 2011 where he sent his email. I've moved on to other things, and in December, I think he made his last public post in the Bitcoin dark forum. So, and it was like 50 cents to $1, the price back then. So, I think it's very clear. I think it's very clear that Satoshi had pure good intentions with Bitcoin. It's very hard to argue against that.
Yeah. And I think that if anybody's interested, and we could probably, I could spend hours talking about this, but I think if anybody's interested in the conspiracy mind of how this could have been released intentionally, knowing what's coming and knowing what the alternative is to this, because the other side of the coin here is the fiat system. It's the London bankers. It's the whatever you want to call it. They've been very clear with their plans for a very long time. Like they literally write playbooks about what they're going to do. Everybody's heard of Agenda 2020, Agenda 2030. So if you're opposed to that, which I feel like most human beings are, why wouldn't you just look at their playbook and see what they're going to do and counteract that? And there's people out there. There's a guy named G Money, and I would encourage people to go look at some of his work. G Money, he's you'd call him a Q guy. Not QAnon, but Q. And Brandon is funny because I'm in one of their Telegram groups, and I saw a video clip of you and who's that? Nolan. Because Nolan's kind of subscribed to that same theory that G Money does in a lot of ways.
He's similar. Yep.
And basically their theory is that it ties back to JFK, the executive order to remove the gold, confiscate the gold. Bitcoin was like a counter to their whole plan that they had, their agendas that they had. And it kind of fits in that, but you have to be willing to think a little bit differently, because again, all Bitcoiners hate government, but they don't realize that every government department is just made up of people. And so there are going to be leaks like this. There are going to be things that happen. So again, I could talk about this till I'm blue in the face, but the guy's name's G Money. He does a show called Rug Pull Radio every Thursday, I think. And he's got some really interesting theories of how this whole thing ties together and how none of it would have worked without Bitcoin being there.